Massive mountains, amazing skiing, a historic railroad, and a town that loves dressing up for the holidays. Durango, Colorado is the subject of this holiday episode of The Family Vacationer. Episode 107 starts right now.
Welcome to The Family Vacationer with Rob and Danny. The go-to podcast for families on the move.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome to episode 107 of The Family Vacationer. We hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. Last week, we talked about the holidays in Franklin, Tennessee, and Christmas time in Middle Tennessee is truly special. So I hope that you'll go back and give that episode a listen. You can also follow the program on Instagram, on Facebook, and watch the video version of the show at thefamilyvacationer.live/YouTube. Today, we're talking about Durango, Colorado. This is a small town in southwestern Colorado. It's about 20 miles from the New Mexico border. It's home to 2,500 preserved archaeological sites, 4 nearby national monuments, 13 historic sites, 2 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and 1 national park. Durango offers a unique look at history. The town was formed in 1881 by the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad, and at its heyday, during the mining boom, the Durango train would carry about $300,000 in precious minerals from the area. Now, that same train carries passengers on a scenic run to Silverton. Now, whether your interest include engaging with the outdoors through miles and miles of world-class biking, of hiking, of skiing, rock climbing, fishing, boating, or, and this is probably where I would come in, eating at one of the delicious restaurants in town that feature local grown food at high elevation farms. Durango is a town that you'll want to see. Christmas in Durango offers many wonderful opportunities for families to take in the beauty and the history of the area. Now, that Durango train becomes the Polar Express, and the train depot bustles with holiday activities. The area, as we mentioned, offers some pretty amazing skiing for all ages and ability levels, along with some other winter activities, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Add on some local fun shops to find that perfect present, and you've got a Christmas destination. Joining us today to talk more about Durango is Rachel Welsh. Rachel is a public relations and communications manager for Visit Durango. Rachel is the public relations and communications manager for Visit Durango. Rachel, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rob. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. So, right off the bat, what makes the holidays in Durango special?
So what makes Durango such a special place during the holidays is it's oftentimes compared to that of like a Hallmark movie. It's very cute, it's covered in snow, and it has kind of that old small town feel with that Wild West touch to it, which is very cool. And we just launched a holiday station, which will be like an annual event. This year will be our first annual one. And it kicks off November 25th and goes to New Year's Day, and it'll be filled with a bunch of local events throughout the city.
That's awesome. Well, as a Southerner, I envy you. Snow on the ground always helps you feel more festive, Christmas. Here, it could be 85, 90 degrees during Christmas. So I envy you with the snow on the ground. That always helps. Speaking of snow on the ground, can you talk about skiing in Durango? I know that's one of the big activities to do there. Can you talk about some of the resorts that families can visit?
Absolutely. So we're blessed with having Purgatory Resort. It's just about a 25-minute drive from downtown. And what's great about it for families is kids 12 and under get to ski for free. And which is amazing. And even just the regular ticket price is very reasonable, which I think is nice because you don't have to make it this huge commitment to, hit the mountain. And it is a very approachable mountain, which I love. And no long lift lines, you won't have crabby kids, you can just keep it going. And
you don't have to take out a loan to go skiing, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yes.
That's awesome.
Exactly. And you won't see a lot of those, big fur coats or anything on the mountain that you might see at other places.
Right.
And then if you want even something smaller, we have Chapman Hill, which is just located right in town. It's a tow rope. It's a little small hill, and there's also a little indoor ice rink connected to it. So that's kind of a cute little introduction if you're looking for that too.
Yeah, that sounds like much more my speed. We've talked on the
Yeah.
show before about my traumatic. I've gone skiing one time, and I ended up losing both the skis. It
Oh,
was Yeah, it was traumatic. So that sounds like more my kind of
yeah.
small hill,
Mhm.
little elevation, nothing too scary. So
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
I know skiing's not the only thing going on. So what are some of the other winter activities that families can get involved with?
Another fun activity is snowshoeing. That's something that I recently got pretty into. What's really nice about Durango is we have a lot of in-town trails, and I mean we have the famous Colorado Trail, which goes from Denver to Durango. And yeah, with the snow on the ground, it's a beautiful way to experience the forest and that kind of magical winter wonderland. And if you love hiking, it's great. And then also there's sleigh rides, horse-drawn sleigh rides that you can do, which is very magical and fun. And of course, ice skating. And if you're looking for something a little bit more adventurous, with San Juan expeditions, you can do ice climbing just
Oh,
right outside of Purgatory. Yes, which is really
interesting.
cool. It's very empowering. I thought it was a little bit easier than just regular rock climbing, but it's definitely, if you're looking for a little adventure, that'll definitely do
Yeah, you say easy rock climbing like
it.
that's a natural thing. Like, oh,
Yes.
just yeah, not so much for gravity has a pretty intense hold on me at this point in my life, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure that any kind of rock climbing would be easy, but that sounds fun for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's
Um,
beautiful. Seeing the frozen waterfalls is also really stunning. So
oh,
let's
that
just
would
hike
be
and check
awesome.
those out. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Well, let's talk about some of the holiday events that are going on in Durango.
Yes, so we have, I mean, kind of the big one is the Polar Express, the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad, which is kind of our iconic train. You can see it behind me. Is It does the Polar Express that starts November 18th and goes through January 5th, I believe.
Okay.
And it's, you get on all your jammies and you get aboard the train and they pop chocolate and they tell the story. And there's dancers that go between the aisles, and the train takes you to this little Christmas village where there's little performances and light shows. And Santa walks through and gets you your little bell with the story. And then it ends back at the train station where they have this beautiful exhibit of all these local artists created these crazy Christmas trees that you can kind of tour through. So that's a big one.
Yeah.
We also have a newer event that's we have the Durango Hot Springs, which is a newly renovated resort,
Mm,
and it's just maybe 15-minute drive from downtown. And they're doing kind of it's also very kid friendly. They have an adult section and a kid section, which is really nice.
yeah.
And there will be Santa will be there, and there'll be caroling and roasting of s'mores. So that's kind of a smoking s'mores and soaking, no smoking, s'mores and s'mores and soaking event.
Sounds like a good combination there, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it does actually.
Well, that's a perfect segue into talking about food. We love talking about food on the Family
Mhm.
Vacationer. So, what's the food scene like in Durango? Where should families, what restaurants should they definitely put on their list? And are there any holiday offerings, any kind of unique things going on in town, like food wise?
So food wise, Durango is it's said to have more restaurants per capita than San Francisco. So we got a lot of options, which is
Wow.
great. So not a lot of long wait times. And we have these two new food truck collectives, which I think kind of have some of the best food in town. So if
Mm,
you do have picky eaters or people want to try different stuff, it's nice to kind of just peruse the food trucks and have this like beautiful kind of main area to hang out in. So that'd be 11th Street and Lola's Place.
okay.
And those are both located downtown. And then Animus Chocolate is a must stop, and during the holidays, they're going to be doing kind of a gingerbread house competition showing. It'll be going through December, and you can get your little chocolate and your sipping chocolate, and also, judge the gingerbread houses. But there's also a bunch of breweries which are really great:
Yeah.
Steamworks, Carvers. Um, so yeah, a lot of good options, and nothing. It's not a really super high end. Of course, you have your like places like the Ore House, which will be your high-end steak place, but there's a lot of good family options as well.
Okay. And a lot of the food is locally grown, correct?
Absolutely. So what's really great is we're in the Animas Valley, surrounded by like beautiful, naturally lush farmland.
Hmm.
So James Ranch is a great place to also stop. I love taking people there. It's table on farm is how they kind of describe it,
Right.
and they source all their stuff directly off their farm, and they also provide it to the nearby restaurants. So it's a lot of locally grown, some of the best beef I've ever had.
Oh, wow.
It's delicious. It's really incredible.
That sounds great. Awesome. Well, you mentioned some of the resorts. Let's talk lodging. So,
Mhm.
understanding that I'm sure the area has many different types of lodging, can you call out some that are family friendly?
Family friendly, I go to the Doubletree, which is located on the Animas River, on the
Okay.
Animas River Trail. That's one of more of the larger resorts. Um, if you want something that's has, the Strater Hotel is the iconic historic hotel in town. Same with the General Palmer.
Okay.
There's also the Colorado Trails Ranch, which is kind of like a summer camp slash hotel. So you can stay there, stay in one of their cabins, and then which is also they can, fit up to like groups of 10. So if you want to do like a big reunion or even just a smaller cabin, you can do that. Horseback riding in the summer, they have like activities like archery and you can almost just stay there the whole time if you'd like to,
Oh, wow.
which is great. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's set aside the holiday season because I know Durango is a year-round, four-season destination. What I imagine the personality of the town has to change, obviously, because there's not snow on the ground in the summertime. What are some spring and summer activities that would be of interest to families?
So what's really awesome is the Animas River runs right through town, and the section that goes through town is, like a class three at the tops, and it can also have some lazy river sections as well. So if you want to do a whitewater rafting trip, it's perfect
Ooh.
for families. Or if you want to rent some tubes and just do the lazy river sections and kind of relax and coast down the Animas River, that's a great option.
Yeah.
And there's also the Animas River Trail, which is great for cycling. And there's a lot of great places you can rent bikes, including e-bikes. And if you want to get a little bit more adventurous, there's mountain biking tours that you can take. We're kind of known for our mountain biking scene.
Yeah.
So you can go out with the pros and they can take you around into a bunch of different skill levels. That's a lot of fun. And then we also have the the US's first and largest zip lining course. And
Oh,
you have to
cool.
take the train to get to it, which is really cool.
Oh,
And
How
that's an
how big
awesome
is it?
experience. It has 27 spans.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's pretty crazy. And it was built before they owned the property before Teddy Roosevelt made it a national forest. So it's like the
Okay.
only business that's allowed to operate within the San Juan National Forest. That's why you have to take the
Wow.
train in or a
Okay.
helicopter, but the train is kind of a fun way to kind of get both of those experiences. And
Yeah,
it's great for families.
I want to talk about the train in a second, but how high off the ground are you? I'm just curious. Again, gravity, has a good hold on me, so I'm a little curious how far off the ground you get.
On the zip lines?
Yeah.
I'm honestly, I'm not sure. It's
Okay.
not
I
too
didn't mean to stump
crazy,
you.
but yeah, I don't know.
You're not over a
Over
big
high.
canyon or anything. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Oh, no, not
Okay.
too crazy. Like, yeah, you're on like a rope to like Ponderosa Pines, and
Okay.
you go through aspen groves, so
So it's
nothing too
leisurely. It's not
crazy.
not it's like
Yeah,
outdoor adventure kind of thing. It's more of okay. So now that's kind of zip line
yeah,
I'm all for. And
yeah.
and I'm not really up on my river rafting, but what's the, not skill level, but what's the oh my gosh, what am I trying to say? What is the difficulty of the rapids around there?
Yes, so the Animas River as a whole can get up to class five, which is the highest. So it's 1 to 5.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, but that's they don't really take tours up to do those ones. That's kind of on your own there. But you can there's one class three that's in town, but on that rafting trip, it's just a quick day thing.
Okay.
You just hit that one once, but the rest of it's pretty mild.
Nice. Okay. So you mentioned the Durango train. I want to hear about what that experience is like taking the train.
It is pretty epic. I mean, it is everything that people say that it is. It's this the same trains that were used back in the mid 1800s to transport ore and silver from Silverton to Durango.
Right.
And they don't use the coal, nothing's coal powered anymore for the environment, but they
Right.
use steam engine trains, and it goes through the San Juan Mountains, and there are these just stunning, towering, big, mountainsides where you see
Mm.
waterfalls, and you go around. There's like sheer drop offs where you just look below, and it's a big canyon, and you see the river, and
Wow.
it is, and then just the whole energy of the train of just having the steam engine and having the old school conductors aboard, and telling you the tales of the Wild West, and um it's just, even if you're not a big history buff, or it's
Right.
just absolutely beautiful. And what I usually recommend is to do the Cascade Canyon route, which is just midway between Durango and Silverton, and that's about like a 6 hour day. But
Right.
if you do the full Silverton, they give you 2 hours to adventure around Silverton, which is also another very cool like little mountain town.
Mhm.
But that's a you're there all day. But the trains didn't travel very fast back then.
Right.
So that's not like an Amtrak trip.
Now, did I read it correctly? I thought it said open air. Did I read that right?
Yes, there is open air carts.
Okay.
Yeah, so those kind of have long benches that go on either side. And don't panic if you're on one side where you're like, I'm not facing the river. You will on the way back. I want to always assure people that everyone will get the great views. And
So
then
is
they
that
have like
is
go
that
ahead.
not frigid in the wintertime though?
Oh, they don't have those in the wintertime.
Okay. All right. So
That's
it's
all.
seasonal. All right. That's why I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. you you get there and you're an ice sculpture, right? So
Yeah. No, they have heated cards that are nice
okay,
and
good.
cozy. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds beautiful. Well, what kind of events and festivals do you guys have going on in the warmer months?
So we have, one of my favorites is the Animas River Days, which is kind of a big party, but also a competition where, you know, people take their little kayaks down and surf the rapids, and there's races from, the Oxbow Park, which is like kind of the top of the Animas River, and ride down to Smelter, and people wear crazy costumes, and it's often sponsored by Scott Brewing, which
Oh,
is our big brewery here.
right.
And that's fun. That's in May. And then we also have the San Juan Brew Fest, which is a nice, fun little brewery festival. And then we have Music in the Mountains, which kind of takes place uh, for a month in the summertime, where we have a lot of amazing musicians and authors and artists come and do little performances. And that's you can have your party, or you can have your kind of violin at the by the river energy.
That sounds awesome. Well,
Hmm.
so putting you on the spot for a moment, what are your favorite parts of town? When you have visiting friends and family, where do you take them?
So I think my favorite place to take people is James Ranch. I do highly recommend that, and it
Okay.
is a larger space, so if you want to have big families, and it's just, I feel like it really encapsulates Durango as like the food scene, and just the passion people have for the environment here, and the dedicated locals. And there's a lot of generational businesses here, where the farm was passed down to the two daughters that run it now, and they're like the coolest. So I highly recommend that, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm a big kayaker, and I love to take people to Lake Nighthorse, which is in town, and it's this beautiful, like bright blue. It is a man-made lake, but they also have those, like, it's like those big blow up obstacle courses on the
Oh,
lake,
wow.
which is
Yeah.
fun. So I love taking people to do that. And what else? I mean, the Animas River Trail is just great to just, take a bike down and enjoy the beauty, and do a lot of hiking. And Goody's Rest is my favorite hike in town, which is part of the Colorado Trail.
Nice.
Yeah.
So In your opinion, it's easy to hit like the high points, the things that are on the brochure, but what do you think is the most underrated activity in Durango? Could be any season.
Any season.
Yeah.
Well, I think that something that's gonna get big and popular in years to come, which I think is very underrated now, is fat biking, which is these bikes have these big, thick tires that are for cycling in the snow.
See, I
And
thought
that's
you
such
meant guys like me on a bike. I thought that's what you
Yeah.
meant, but it's something different. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
It's the tire that's fat. Okay,
It's a
I'm with you.
tire, yes.
So,
I mean, it's just a
what's the-
beautiful way to go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, what's the ride like on those? Is it any different than a normal bike? I've seen them out, and I'm just wondering what the difference in the ride is.
Yeah, I mean, they're more cushiony, so you feel more supported, and especially on those icy trails, you'll want like that good. And so, yeah, they just kind of have really thick tires. They kind of, you're not slipping and sliding like you would on a normal mountain bike. And yeah, there's just a little bit more cushion to them, which I think helps with the snow.
Gotcha. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Well, for more information on visiting Durango, consult your travel agent and go to durango.org. Rachel, thanks so much for spending some time with me today and talking with me.
Thank you so much, Rob. It was a pleasure.
Hey everyone, if you're ready to plan your next family vacation, call my dad. He would love to help you as a certified travel agent. He never charges a fee to help you plan your vacation. Email him at rjones@starsteptravel.com. Get started planning your vacation today.
Well, that does it for this week's show. Thanks again, Rachel, for being on the show with me. Join us next week as we have our last show of the year, and we talk about a very special place. It's called Give Kids the World Village. It's in Orlando. That's next week. Till next time.
Thank you for listening to The Family Vacationer. Make sure and subscribe to hear more of Rob and Danny.